Joining me now is our Foreign Affairs editor, Geeta Mohan, on the phone line. Geeta, this clearly, I think, I correct myself, she's joining me live in this telecast, has clearly been perhaps the biggest development that I think, and clearly looks like an assassination attempt. How is this being seen, reported? What do you hear as the response to this incident?
Well, firstly, a massive international reaction to the attempt on the former US president. It is a very serious matter. It has to be taken very seriously. There will be a lot of inquiry, investigation, not just about the shooter who has been apprehended or the alleged shooter apprehended, but there will also be investigation into how this happened. How did a bullet reach so close to the former US president? How did it scrape through Donald Trump's ears? It could have been, it's just a narrow escape. It could have not been his ear and could have been his face. So there is going to be massive inquiry. Another thing that if you see is the procedure and protocol. Now all former presidents of the United States of America do get Secret Service. They do have certain level of protection, maybe not as high as a sitting president, like like Salvatore was saying earlier.
Correct.
That there was a ramping up of security after the assassinations and attempts in the past, especially Kennedy, but there still is a level of security that is provided to any former US president. So the protocol over here, what are the investigations going to say about the protocol over here? Did they have the exit plan? Because any event of a former or sitting president has to have a clear exit. In this case, if you see, we were still looking at the video to see whether if there was a clear exit. They were still waiting to find that way out for Donald Trump. So all this will have to be investigated. Meanwhile, the question of how does this look? In terms, there are a few, let's go through what can and what are the conversations that are taking place. One is the international condemnation that we are seeing from across. Then we are seeing the political dispensation within America also questioning and condemning this entire act. Thirdly, the questions also now coming out on gun lobby and whether if guns should be available so easily to anybody off the shelf in the United States of America, should there be a change of law? And then the entire aspect of presence of mind, that this was Donald Trump. Should this have been Joe Biden, would he have acted as quickly as Donald Trump did? And the picture and then the political presence of mind to know that the incident has happened, to know that he is not that severely injured, and therefore to say, okay, let me get my shoes and say, wait, and then that act of a display of the fist of defiance on the stage before leaving the stage. That's all presence of mind. So in a way,
you're right. Also, Geeta, the way he showed the fist bump and not once and twice and said, I think if I've got him correct, fight, and continue to do it. Possibly it was only Trump who realized what this could do. But what...
They're screaming America and MAGA again, you see. That's something that is telling. It is going to be a part of the discourse in terms of political narratives and conversations for some time.
But do you think do you see the discourse also going toward, let's say, the whole gun epidemic issue in America? Because there have been mass shootings, there's been a gun control debate, and when it is about Trump, it's a former president, possibly there is a likelihood of him becoming the next president as well. Do you think this will also be a big debate, or that could come for later?
It will be a part of the conversation. I'll tell you why. Because the anti-gun lobby waits for moments like this to take up the matter and talk about how serious this issue really is. So from that quarter, there will be conversation. In terms of political debates, I suppose, given Trump's own stand and position on guns, and there will be a lot of questions that will be asked. That should he now have a rethink on allowing guns, off the shelves in the United States of America. Having said that, I think the bigger political debate will be of Trump versus Biden. That photo if we have of him with the fist up, the calling it the Fist of Defiance, and standing there with a flag, the American flag behind him, and somebody from from the crowd taking that picture with blood oozing out of his ears and a scar on his face.
Yes.
That is going to be a telling image. Every newspaper tomorrow
Geeta,
morning
stay on
is
with
going
me
to
because
have that
I
image.
have to say here, it was close. It's not that it was around him or maybe let's say a shoe thrown at George Bush earlier.
Oh, no.
This has hit him. It's just a matter of luck for sure. That
This
I
is
think.
a narrow.
Yes.
This is a narrow.
If it's hit the ear,
Imagine how
yes,
things would have turned should he have been severely injured.
severely injured, or it would have hit somewhere else because the ear bleeding clearly shows that it did hit him.